Hello guys, it's Rhino, and today we're having a preview of the game Nova Aetas Renaissance by Ludus Magnus Studio, which just launched on Kickstarter. So, Nova Aetas Renaissance is a cooperative tactical adventure set in the world of Nova Aetas in a fantastic and dark Italian Renaissance. You play 4 heroes in a mythical campaign based on the historic events of the war between Rome and Venice around the 1500s, and you want to rewrite history. It is a game from 1 to 4 players, and it's a reimplementation of the original game released some years back, and with this the goal is to offer an even deeper and more immersive experience, as the big box suggests. It is very RPG-like, there's lots of gorgeous miniatures, the world is rich, and there's lots of rules to learn to be able to play. All of these point towards the direction of a more meaty and deep experience. In the game, you and your party will face a series of missions that will evolve the story, and also the heroes themselves will evolve as well during the course of the campaign. They level up their starting class by choosing between 2 advanced classes in their development thread. They get new skills, equipment, so each will have a special role on the battlefield. There is lots of importance on the tactical skills that the players will be testing during the missions. There's battles taking place with enemies controlled by artificial intelligence and challenges presented with meaningful choices that will change the course of the game. In the game, one very important thing, which is also key to victory, is the Horologium. It looks like a clock, and it's used to manage the model's activations, to determine the start and end of a mission, and to determine when an event is triggered. The minute hand moves until it reaches a quadrant occupied by at least 1 token, and that token or tokens become active. Once the minute hand reaches 12, then you also move the hour hand, and this process continues until the end of a mission is reached. Each action of the characters has a cost in time, so when a character declares an action, you move their activation token forward on the Horologium by that number of quadrants. The actions that the players can do are pretty intuitive, and they each cost a different amount of action points to perform. Heroes can move, they can use skills and equipment, interact with objects, attack the enemies, pass or throw equipment to other heroes, and so on. There's also another important thing called the synchronization. When a hero carries out an activation, they're always obliged to spend a number of action points that force them to enter or pass the first quadrant occupied by an enemy activation token, if they have the required number of action points to do so. To get a better hang of the feel of the game, let's have a look at the missions. We only have this demo mission in the prototype, and as you can see, it has different types of cards that are revealed gradually. There's also location cards with points of interest that the players can decide to visit, which then takes them to another location or scene, adding new dens on the board. There's going to be further choices for them to make, and they will interact also with various NPCs. There's lots of elements to interact with, there is lots of story to engage with, and the missions give lots of agency and freedom to the players. Apart from the heroes, the players also need to move the enemy miniatures in the game, and for that they follow some artificial intelligence instructions. The priority by which each hero is targeted by an enemy is tracked in the threat value of each hero. At the start of the game, each hero receives a beryllium, and every time they perform an action, like for example wounding or killing an enemy, the dial goes up. And with other things, like when a hero goes out of action, the dial goes down, as they are less of a threat for the enemy. So when it's time to activate an enemy, you first check if there are heroes present in the control area of that enemy, and if there are, the threat value is going to indicate which one is going to be targeted, unless there is a specific objective given by the mission for the enemy. If more than one hero can be targeted, the enemy will select the closest, or then the most injured hero, or if there's still a tie, then you roll a dice for it. Models can attack in different ways, using melee weapons, firearms, prayers and magical powers, and there's always the secondary effects in most cards that make it even more interesting. The hero attacks are made by rolling a number of dice equal to the sum of the characteristic involved, Like for physical ranged attacks, they use their precision. For physical melee attacks, their strength. For mental magic attacks or mental prayers, their mind. And they also count any bonus given by skills and or equipment. Depending on the target, there is a certain threshold that needs to be passed for each die rolled to count as successful. For a target to be valid, you also need to check if the target is within range, so this value, and determine if they are in the model's line of sight, which are pretty standard for a game of this genre, but the game also takes into account the scenery around. If the line of sight passes through a scenery element that is directly adjacent to the square occupied by the target, that target is considered to be in cover. It can still be attacked, but because they are in cover, the hero can re-roll a die when defending, and a hero attacking an enemy must re-roll a die that rolled a success. And with all this, I hope I helped you get a taste of the Nova Aetas Renaissance. There's a lot more stuff to discover in the game. It's a pretty rich experience. If you want to see more, you can check out the Kickstarter campaign page of the game. I'll have the link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and for liking and for subscribing, of course. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.